paradise. I grew up in the Hollywood area in the early 60s, which displayed a myriad of architectural styles. Miniatures of French, Spanish, and English, and craftsmen dotted our community. When I was 7, we would walk our dog daily in the afternoon and discovered a unique home 2 blocks from where we lived. Our dog would stop at the ivy-covered sidewalk and walkway. I would stand and gaze at the unusual home. Cinder block and stucco, privacy, undescriptive, and hidden. Many times, a slim older man would be outside. He would greet my mother. I was very curious to see inside. Sometimes he would leave the front gate open, and I would peer in the gate with a courtyard. Later, I discovered that we were talking to Lloyd Wright, the famous architect. Buildings became my life. I was drawn as a child by our New England-style church. I'd sit in the wooden pews and gaze at the stained Gothic glass windows. I would feel the strength of the old timbers. The wood spoke to me. The ghost of the trees echo their semblance of life. 200 years prior, so beautiful. My passions highlighted when I got my first introduction to the architecture of Palos Verdes, 1962. I saw the new Marymount College. It was so different from what I had seen before. This was in contrast to the revival-style architecture present in the Hollywood area. I followed this interest to a greater and greater passion for restoration. In 1992, we purchased a 90-year-old home in the South Bay. Distressed and unpainted, still, when I peeked in the living room window, I could see its grandeur and its beauty. And the wood was intact, never been painted. What a treat. Later, we leased a home in Rolling Hills. The owners had planned to tear it down. I remember that we walked in and I was fascinated. A sprawling white ranch home with an entryway with terrazzo tile. The study was a room that was all pine paneling and pine coffered ceilings with a classic window seat. Like a Virginia plantation home, it had a trace of Mount Vernon. The wood again spoke to me. It was built by the famous architect to the Hollywood stars, Paul Williams. Then, a couple of years later, a home on the other side of Rolling Hills was for sale. It was a simple ranch house on 7 acres of land. The house is an accessory to the landscape. It has 300 trees and an inspirational view of the ocean, Catalina, and the lovely Wayfarer's Chapel, a chapel built by Lloyd Wright. That is destiny fulfilled. I always remember English architect Christopher Wren stated over 300 years ago, architecture is eternity.